Here we have verse 29 of the 14th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus has been assuring the disciples that even though they're a little bit perplexed at the anticipation of Jesus departing from them, that actually it's going to be much better for them if he departs, because as a result of that he will come back to them, but come back to them in a more potent form, taking up residence within them in the person of the Parakletos, the Holy Spirit, and the Father himself. The entire Trinitarian presence will be there dwelling within them, and the power, of course, of the presence of God within them is going to greatly exceed the benefit that they derive simply by being in the physical presence of Jesus during his incarnation. A little bit tough for them to understand, I suppose, at the time, but that certainly became clear enough to them as the events unfolded. So in verse 29, he's now wrapping up that conversation with these assurances. So we have kai, the connective, nun, indeclinable adverb, means now, and now, ereka, this is from ereo. It's roughly synonymous to lego, I say. It's less commonly used than the word lego, but it is frequently used in this particular form. This is the perfect, so we have the third person, or the first person singular, perfect active indicative, and now I have spoken, and the sense of it is continue to speak, as if it's either having a continuing sort of reverberation in their consciousness, or in fact he is continuing to speak, but one way or another he's speaking to them. And then humen, the indirect object, this is the dative plural of the second person pronoun, so, and now I have spoken to you, prin. This is a conjunction, it means before, and then it's used here with the infinitive. So genesthai, from genomai, I become. This is the aorist infinitive of this. Before, to be, or to become is the idea. It's a little bit rough, of course, to translate it directly, but the sense of it is plain enough that I've spoken these things to you before the things take place, in advance of them taking place. And then we have this word hina, means in order that, is normally used with the subjunctive, and we have the subjunctive here. So in order that, pistu seta, this is the second person plural, aorist active subjunctive, in order that you might believe would be the idea. And then within that subjunctive we have a separate subjunctive here. So hotan, whenever, which also takes the subjunctive. The alpha nu there is actually a contraction of aeon, if, translated whenever. So whenever, genetai, and this is the aorist third person singular aorist subjunctive of genomai, the same word that we have here. And so in order that you might believe whenever it takes place is the idea. So I'm saying these things to you in advance of them taking place, so that when they take place, of course the point of it is that you might then in that circumstance believe. That's the purpose of Jesus making this disclosure to them.